Hey there. Third try hopefully is a charm. If not, we're staying sideways. So like I said, these are the new in color cards that I gave you in your kits. And here's the kit that I gave you, which has the cards elements that we're going to be making today. And before we get started, I'd like to see who all has joined us. So please just type a comment so I can see who is here. Today we're going to make 4 fun projects. Hey Carol, am I sideways still? I'll wait for her comment. And yay, I'm correct. So happy. This is so hard for me. I am definitely technologically challenged, but I'm trying. So if I can do this, anyone can do this. So if anyone is watching this video at a later date, here's just a little advertisement, a little background. This class is our virtual class of our stamp club that used to meet in my home once a month, but in light of COVID, we are meeting virtually. So I give these paper kits to my stamp club members, and this was a little bonus that I gave them, these 5 in color cards, because these are 5 new colors that came out this year, and they are gorgeous. So I'm super excited. We just got the new annual catalog, and I had an annual catalog reveal on my Facebook page about a week ago. But here's the catalog, and it's just full of amazing projects, new stamp sets, beautiful layouts, beautiful cards. If you're interested, oh, Marilyn's here. Hey, Marilyn. Third time is a charm. Right now, if you're interested in becoming a demonstrator, they have a pick a free bundle starter kit promotion. So with the starter kit, you also get a free bundle, which is an amazing deal. So you might want to consider that. Also, for the month of June only, there's a great promotion called the Annual Catalog Kickoff Celebration. So for the month of June only, if you place a $250 order, or if you have a party that's $250 or more, you get an extra $25 in stamping rewards. So that's a really great deal. So think about that. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I almost forgot to put my light on today. So first thing we're going to do is cut out the cards. So this is the new paper cutter, which some of you may have. And the first thing I did was you have the kits, but I'm just going to go through the cards as if you were making them from scratch. So I'm taking a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and the first thing I'm going to do is score it down the middle. And I oftentimes don't do this just because I always seem to manage to cut it instead of score it. But if you place the paper at 4 1/4, let's see, is that going to be right? Yeah. Okay, 4 1/4. I lined it up, and I'm going to score it with the lighter one. Then you rotate it and cut it at 5 1/2. So I'm putting it at 5 1/2. Now I'm looking down here at the bottom, which is off of the camera. Oh, you can see it now. 5 1/2, and I'm going to use the darker one and cut it. So that gives me my paper, and see it folds in half. Now the reason I don't always score it is because it seems like I usually mess it up, but this looks pretty good. Happy with that. All right, so there's 2, but we need 4, so I'm going to do 1 more. And like I said, we're going to do it lengthwise first, score it at 4 1/4. I'm using the lighter blade. I can't tell you how many times I've cut things instead of scored, but hopefully I won't do that today. Now I'm going to cut it at 5 1/2. All right, so now we have 4 card bases. for our project today. So that was pretty fast. I'll put the cutter aside for now. And you can always take your bone folder and I don't know what you call it, embellish it or something, so that it lies nice and flat. So there we go, 4 card bases. Hey Jerry, welcome. I have extra card kits if you want to get one from me. I don't think you managed to pick one up or not. All right, so there's that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and emboss. I went ahead and cut these out already, but they're going to go on here. So they are, where's my little cheat sheet? Oh, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So I have two crumb cake and 2 soft suede, and I'm going to emboss them. And for this project, I used actually 4 embossing folders. And I'm going to go ahead and emboss all 4 of them now. So I'm going to bring my Big Shot over. And I'm kind of zoomed in pretty close here, but it's hard for me to change my zooming, so we're just going to go with it. Hopefully you can see it. So we're going to start with there goes my light. We're going to start with the Brick and Mortar 3D embossing folder. Isn't that pretty? And we're going to do that one in crumb cake. So let me grab my crumb cake. And this particular one, let's see, I want to go this way. Okay. Get it right, girl. All right, I want my black side up. There we go. Oh, you can't even see me. Holy cow. All right, there. I'm just going to line it up inside there. Can you see that? And I'm going to set it down on tab 1 of my embossing machine. And I'm going to put the blue embossing pad on top and run it through. And there you go. So in your kit, you guys already have one of these, but like I said, I'm just going to show you how to do it from start to finish. That way you can do it yourself at your leisure later. All right, next we're going to do Pinewood. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to do the Parisian Flourish next, which is really pretty. And we're going to do that in soft suede. So this particular one, if you see, it's got a flower right in the middle. So I'm going to line up my paper right in the middle, which is a little hard to see. Oh, all right. Thanks, Phyllis. Phyllis said I'm okay now, so yay. All right, so same thing. We're just going to run it through the machine. And like I said, the flower's right in the middle, which puts the design right in the middle. So it's upside down, but we can just flip it over, and there we go. Although some people do prefer the debust, I prefer the embossed. But you can do your preference, right? All right, so next is a new embossing folder with the Ornate Suite. And this is the Ornate Floral 3D, and I'm going to use crumb cake for that. Run that through. Isn't that pretty? I really like that. I just love these embossing folders. They're so fun. And then last is pine wood planks. Been around for a while, but it's really a nice one. This one actually is a little bit older style, so you don't use the blue one for that, you use the clear one. So I'm going to line up my paper. Let's see, I think I want the planks. Yeah, I'm going to have the planks go up and down, so I'm going to line the paper up that way. Set it down, and you put a clear one on top of this one, because like I said, mine's the older style. I think the newer ones, the newer style, you use the blue one on, but I'm not sure. But this particular one of mine, you use the clear one on, because the blue is too thick. So there we go. Isn't that pretty? Love this. Hope they don't ever retire it. Hopefully it's like lovely as a tree, right? And they don't ever retire it. All right, so, well, since I've got the machine out, I think I'm going to go right on to how to do the sunflower. So for that, I'm going to use a magnetic platform, and I'm putting one plate on there. And pull this forward a little so we can see it better. And I learned a trick, which I really love. You take a dryer sheet, just a cheap one, and what I did was I cut it into quarters. So here's a quarter of a dryer sheet, and you know, I should back up here and just say, well, I'll show this afterwards, I guess. I'm going to cut it out, cut this die out, so that we have a flower that looks something like this. All right, so what I did was, you want to put the dryer sheet down first. Let's see if I can get this. It's really a great tip. And then we're going to put the paper down. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to put the dryer sheet right behind the paper in the corner, because that's actually where I'm going to put my die. And then I'm going to slide my die right there on top. Can we see that? All right. And then I'm going to put, there it is, a clear one on top. I'm going to slide this out so I can get to it. And I'm going to run it through. So this one is an intricate die. I do like to run it through twice, which I will do. Maybe even 3 times. There we go. So pull this here. Now, what I like to do before I take it apart is just look at the bottom side and make sure it cut through. And it looks like it did. So here's the magic. This dryer sheet just pulls away all that stuff for the most part. So yeah. Look at that. All those little dots. Like, I literally had to poke them out with my poker tool, this thing, before I discovered that if you use a dryer sheet, there they all are. You don't have to do that. So it comes right out, slick as butter. So yeah. If you have a problem with this die not getting it to cut right, you can always run it through the other way. And it gives it just a little more pressure. But this dryer sheet thing really works well, so you don't have to do that. So there's the flower. How easy is that? And we also I did a bunch of leaves. So I'm just going to reuse my dryer sheet. Just going to dust it off a little. And I'm going to do a leaf. So once again, dryer sheet on the bottom. Then we do paper. And last we do the the leaf, which I somehow managed to cover up. There it is. Found it. Yay. Here we go. The leaf. Like I said, if you're having problems, you can turn this. If you're having problems with everything coming out or for it's not cutting for you, you can flip the whole sandwich over like this and cut upside down. And for me, that's always worked like a charm. But to tell you the truth, when you add that dryer sheet in, for me, for this machine anyway, that was all I needed for it to come out perfectly. So I'm just going to do the leaf twice. And flip it over. It actually just came right off. And when you pull it off, it comes right out. Nice, huh? There it is, stuck on the dryer sheet, which you can throw away, or you can just clean them off and reuse them a couple of times. I don't know how many times. I haven't done this too much yet. It's a new technique for me, but I really like it, especially with these intricate dies. So, all right. So now we have pretty much all that we need. Get everything straight again. Gotta find out where I put my card bases. There they are. All right, card bases. And then the 4 different colors. So we can just mass produce these now and put, I like to put tape on 4 corners. I don't really like to use glue when I've embossed. It doesn't seem to stick as well. So you can use your tape runners, or I like to use double stick. Whatever you like to use. I like to put a little bit in each of the 4 corners. That way the corners don't flap up, and you really don't need a ton of adhesive. Just a little bit in each of the 4 corners. Then you take it and center it on your card base. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Hold the show. I just remember we got to put ribbon on these. So, I'm just going to hold on this one. Maybe I'll take, we'll go to a different one. I'll fix that one later. All right, we're going to go, sorry, gosh, I'm getting way ahead of myself here. All right, let's take the Floresian Paris one, and we'll get the, I'm not going to show you me cutting all these out because I showed you one and really it's all the same. So, hey, Pat, welcome. All right, so we're going to take the Parisian Flourish one, and now I learned a new trick thanks to Marilyn about how to power glue these. So what I did was I took a silicone mat. If you don't have a silicone mat, you can, what Marilyn said is she took a piece of foil about the same size and put glue dots on the 4 corners and glued it down to her surface. That way it won't move around. The silicone mat, it already sticks. It's kind of nice and sticky. So anyway, so take that. You can take your liquid multi-purpose glue and put some in the corner. Then take your decoration that you're going to use, and you can either use a sponge, which, gosh, I can't even see my sponge. There it is. You can take a sponge and sponge it, or you can take a paintbrush and paint it. I think I'm going to use a paintbrush. But the key to this is you want to make sure it's held firmly. You don't want it to wiggle. Otherwise, you're going to get glue everywhere. So, and really, you only need to get glue around the edges and then around the center. And so around the center, we're going to do something different. Probably. Let's see. Anyway, so you can, like I said, you can take your sponge or you can take a paintbrush and paint around the edges. Now the reason you want to hold it still is so you don't get glue on the other side. Of course, the other thing you could do is just put glue on it, but it's really kind of a pain to do that. So there, I just did around the edges. Now I'm going to move my fingers out, do around the center, and that should be enough glue. Then I want to lift it straight up, and I've got glue. So I'm going to put this towards the top, and it's got words, so I want the words to kind of go the right way. And there we go. How slick is that? So look, there's not glue all over. It's not a big gluey mess, but there's enough glue for the project. So there we go with that one. Now you want to do a center. I didn't show you cutting out the center. Well, I will show you because actually I don't have a crumb cake center. So let me bring the machine back in. And I'm just going to do a center, which I don't even see it. All right, I somehow misplaced the center, so I think we're not going to do that. Well, that's the problem with working on one table in a video. Well, maybe it'll show up later. We'll just skip that for now. That's awkward. All right, I don't know. We'll just use this color, I guess, on this one. Now for you guys, you know what? I know what I'll do. I'll just pull it out of the kit. So there's actually a little round center cutter, which does this. Gosh, you can't even see it. Here we go. Which does this, and it embosses the center. Who knows where it's at? It's somewhere on my table. I don't know where it is. So I'm just going to open up my kit and get a crumb cake one out of there. Yay. All right, so now this, I don't really like to put glue on, like I said, the embossed area, so I'm going to use a piece of double stick tape. And the edges are sticking over, so I just fold them. Or you could clip them, put it in the center, and your flower's done. So then I want to do my leaves, of which you should have 8 of these leaves. And once again, you can use the same technique on your silicone mat. Oh, I forgot to say, if you don't have a silicone mat, you could also, like I said, take the foil, or you could even take a piece of copy paper. You could cut it into 4s and use that as the background instead of the silicone mat. I should have said that, but I didn't. All right, so I'm going to turn these over and take my little paintbrush and paint around the edges of my flowers. So we don't really need glue everywhere, just around the edges is good enough. And I just put them on wherever it looks good. If there's extra glue, you can kind of tap it with your hand. You'll get glue on your hands, but you can just rub them. The glue comes off. It's not that big a deal. And there we go. And then I'm going to take my ribbon, which in this case I used the bumblebee ribbon. Slip it around the back, and I tied it off to the right. Like that, which is a little hard to do when you have glue on your hand, so if If you want to wash your hands before this step, I wouldn't blame you. But I don't think you want to wait while I go wash my hands, so there you go. Now if you don't get it right, you can just play with the rib until you get it right. And then I like to take my scissors, since it's kind of frayed now that I put it on, and just trim it a little. This is where it helps to have good scissors, which I need to sharpen my scissors again, but there you go. Very pretty. Now we're ready to put it on the card base. So now I can take my 4 corners, yeah, I like my ribbon there. Oh yeah, Carol said you can also do it on wax paper. Very true. Just if you do wax paper or foil, you might want to somehow stick it to your surface so that it's not wiggling all around. All right, so there we go. There's our first card done. Isn't that pretty? And you can, I didn't put anything on the inside of these, but you could stamp a sentiment or whatever. Speaking of sentiments, so I gave you guys all 4 of these little punched out sheets that you can stamp whatever you want to on. And so this punch is fairly new. It's called the Label Me Fancy punch, and there, it's hard to see. This one also has like a little 2 little other cutout things. So when I use this one, I cut a strip, a 1 1/4 inch strip, and then I just punch it like that, and that way it's not cutting and wasting paper. So you can go back in and like put those little holes or wherever you want. It's just like 2 little extra things in your punch. So there, you have 4 of these. You can stamp them with whatever sentiment you like, or you can wait until you send it and then stamp it. Now this knot is probably too far over, so I think I can rotate it a little to get this punched thing on here, like maybe there. You know, I think I prefer it on the other side, so I'm going to do this. I just disconnected it. I'm going to move that over there. Much better. And now when I tape this down, I'm not going to stamp anything on it yet because I never know what cards I'm going to send out. So there, that looks better over on that side. So I'll show you the other one I did, where I actually stamped a thank you. This one I'm just going to leave, but you can stamp whatever you want to on it. And it's floating, so... Oh, you know what? I'm being kind of dumb here. I actually use dimensionals on mine. Because see what happens? Look, it just sticks up like that. So if you use a dimensional... on the top and the bottom... peel off the sticky tape. Make sure I'm on the camera here. And there you go. Of course, the problem is now it's going to be harder to stamp on here. So you might, if you're going to do this, you might want to stamp on it before you tape it down. But there, the card is done. So that's our first one. And really, we're just going to do the same thing for the other 4. So back to my silicone mat. This is why I like to use it, because you can just rub off the dried up glue and it won't stick to your next project, and you can start over. So there we go. I'm going to put some more glue on. And I will do this one that I already stuck tape on. It was kind of stupid. And we're going to use the bumblebee flower, the yellow one. this one for that. I prefer using, well, you can use either side. I think I'll use this side. This is kind of, got a couple chads I got to pop out. Oops. All right, and back to my paintbrush. I'm going to hold it down in the center. Just paint around the edges. So here's a little fun fact. I'll do the center now. I have a new granddaughter. I think most of you know that by now. It's pretty excited. And she has a really cute sunflower outfit on today. But the only picture I have is of her crying her little heart out. So I can't share it with you. But I wish I could. All right, so we're going to take the brick wall one and put this towards the top. There we go. And on this one, got a little extra chat in there. Let's see if I can pop it out. Got it. All right. I am going to use the soft suede center for this one. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I just love these new in colors. So this is the Bumblebee, one of the new in colors. Oh, and my husband's on. That's great. Maybe he's going to come join us. I hope he doesn't critique me. All right, so on this one, I'm going to use this new, what's it called? Oh, Misty Moonlight ribbon. Isn't that pretty? It looks really pretty with the other color. All right, so I'm gonna tie this one off to the right again. Oh, you know what? Before I do, I've got to glue these little babies on. So let me come back over here, and I'm gonna put a little more glue on and hold it down. So anyway, if you want to see pictures of Blair, they're on my Facebook page. Bree doesn't like me posting a lot, so I'm not going to be able to post many. So you're going to have to enjoy the few I'm able to post. All right, so I'm going to put that down. And am I on the camera? There we go. You don't really need much glue. And let me go ahead and tie the ribbon on. Which I'm going to tie on the leaf side, that's right, because it looks better with the sentiment, I think, on the other side. So you sort of have a visual triangle of the greens. You have the two leaves, and then the sentiment, which is green, which I'll show you in a sec, instead of having it all jammed together. So that's why I'm putting the ribbon off on the right-hand side. There we go. Hard to do with sticky fingers, but I did it. There's the ribbon. Put the embellishment. I'm going to put a dimensional at the top and the bottom. Peel off the back paper. And I'm going to put it on the left-hand side. I already put tape on because I was getting ahead of myself. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? Just love sunflowers. So we have two done. here it is with the hello sentiment, and it's quite pretty. I did forget to trim the ribbon, so let me do that. Perfect. All right. So we got 2 done. Now we're going to go on to the next one. We'll do the ornate floral one next, which is, like I said, is a new folder. And for that one, I'm going to use the Moonlight Madness. I'm getting better at these names. Flower. So let's tape that first. Just going to rub off my old glue. Which obviously if you're using wax paper, I don't know if this would work with wax paper, be able to rub it off. You probably just need new sheets, but I really like the word side, so that's what I'm going to use. Put down a little more glue. Make sure that I'm on here. Hold it down and just get around the corners. So those of you that have tried to glue down these ornate dies before just using a glue stick will appreciate how much easier it is to do it this way. And it's easier and it's just less messy. Your project doesn't have glue all over it. I really love this technique. But like I said, you don't want to wiggle the flower. There we go. And I'm just going to pick it up and do the center, because I really have a lot of glue on my fingers now. And we will stick this one. Oops, it did ooze around a little. There we go. We'll do that. Now for this one, I chose to use a yellow center, so, which is the bumblebee, the new bumblebee. Really pretty color. Of course, the sad thing about these ink colors is they're only here for 2 years, so you got to snag them fast. But aren't they pretty together? Got a little dab of glue, but how pretty is that? All right, so now we're going to grab 2 more leaves. There's kind of a front side and a back side to these, so you just want to examine them before you do them. Add a little more glue. And just do the edges. Holding it in the center, glue around the edges. There we go. Oopsie. It's coming up because my fingers are so sticky. All right, let me get rid of some of this glue. If you just rub your hands together, you can get a lot of it off. Or use like a sugar scrub or something, you can get the glue off. But hey, we're crafters, right? Crafters are supposed to have inky hands and gluey hands, right? All right, I'm going to use a Marvelous Magenta ribbon on this one. I'm going to tie the bow over above the leaves, and this time it's going to be on the left. The other 2 I think I did on the right. I don't know. So they can all look different. Now this would be really fun to make like a little gift bag or box or something and give to somebody as a gift. Several box ideas. Maybe I'll come in one of these weeks and just do a fun little box project that you could put 4 cards in. The reason I chose these projects, well, 2 reasons. I wanted to show you the new sunflower set, and I also just wanted to show you the new in colors and share them with you. And they really are pretty, aren't they? And I'm going to pull that ribbon down a little. Get one more. of these. And like I said, you could stamp your sentiment already, stamp it later. It is a little harder to stamp once you have a dimensional on there, though, I will warn you. So, but I didn't really get any words out to stamp, so I'm just going to press on for now. All right, so this one I'm going to put off to the right, so it's a little bit different. Here's the one I did previously. I put thank you on it. So see how it's on the other side, but that's all right. I mean, I like doing them different. Oh, I forgot. Got to put it on my cardstock. Now, the other, one thing you always want to do is make sure your card's opening this way and not backwards, which Marilyn Stephen tells me in Israel, they do them the other way. So if you do it backwards, you can just tell people that you are making them a card from Israel, right? So there's an answer for everything. And they'll just think you're totally smart, right? I mean, how many of us haven't put a card together backward? I know I sure have. All right, there we go. Now this card is done. And the last card. We're going to use the pine wood planks. And this, isn't this color gorgeous? I really like it. It's called Cinnamon Cider. Yum. All right, so rub off the old glue so it doesn't get on my paper. And to decide which side I'm going to use. Let's look at the other ones I did. So far I used that side on the yellow one. I did the word on the blue. Now I did words on the pink. All right, so I'm going to use the polka dot side. On this one, throw a little more glue down. Like I said, you could also be using a sponge for this, but I kind of wanted to see what I was doing, so I chose for a paintbrush. Okay, I got lost for a minute, but I'm back, so yay. Thankfully that wasn't too long. I'm going to put a little more glue around the center. And put that on. Oh, those polka dots are cute, aren't they? Really like this paper. All right, so there that is. And look, oh, see, I got a dab of glue down there. But what I was going to say was, look, there's no, like, little extra pieces of glue. And those of you who've glued these ornate pieces before, you know you can just get glue everywhere. All right, so for the center of this one, I'm going to use my bumblebee again. And for the ribbon, I'm actually going to use the same color because I just, isn't that pretty? The cinnamon cider. Yum. Oh, before we do that though, let's do the, see, I need somebody here like tell me what to do. Like, don't forget to do the leaves. Oh yeah, the leaves. So I'm going to do the leaves. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're going to stick these on the left because I did 2 on the right. And this will give me 2 cards with leaves on the left. So they're mirror images. And one more piece of unglued real estate here. There. See, I pulled up some of the paper, but I am just going to cover it up, and no one's going to know that I messed it up. You guys might not even noticed, but maybe did. But I fixed it. Fixed my boo-boo. Which, yeah, I mean, that's half of stamping, is knowing how to creatively fix any boo-boos that you make. Sometimes you end up with a happy mistake, which Marilyn Schmidt likes to say. And she's right. Like sometimes by creatively covering up something, you're like, oh, that really looks pretty. So there's that. I trimmed it. Really love this gluing technique. Thank you, Marilyn, for your tip. And yeah, any of you guys have tips you want to share with me, send them my way. I know some of you spend a lot of time watching these videos and you probably learn a lot. And if you want to share it with me, I'm always love to learn new things. So there, I put my glue, my tape in the 4 corners. Of course, I may or may not agree with it, but a lot of these tips are really helpful. So there, taping it down, and the last thing to do is to put my little sentiment on. And I would just stamp using Memento, some saying, whatever you want. Or, you know, if you want to get fancy, you could even handwrite a greeting. You could say whatever you wanted to then. So there we go. 4 cards done. Let me see what time it is. Okay, not too bad. All right, so these are our 4 cards. Let me just show them real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aren't they pretty? Make a nice little gift set to a friend of yours, or just send them yourself to friends. All right, what I meant to show you at the start was what the die set actually looks like. And here I like to put mine on, this is a piece of dryer vent sheet. That's a magnet. I just cut them out to the size of the envelope. And that way I can store them and see what we have. The other thing I like to do is cut out, do a cutout of it. So that's what I did. To show you what it would look like. There's a coordinating stamp set, which I sort of hinted at, that goes with these dies. And you can see, like on this one, I actually stamped it out. This is called paper piecing. I think we'll probably do this in another club because it's kind of anyway, it's really fun, and it's a fun way to use up your scraps. And I just love how that turned out. And also this is paper piecing, where you just stamp on designer paper. But I love how this turned out, and I'll probably just show you a card with that later. So that's the Celebrate Sunflower bundle. I think I need to like tape my lights down so they don't fall. But here, just quickly, I'll show you. You can come back and look at it later. Is a list of the supplies I used. These are the different colors of paper I used. And these are the embossing folders. Down here, Celebrate Sunflower bundle, the new In Color ribbons, Label Me Fancy punch, and the Memento black pad. So you can pause the video here later. You can come back in later and see anything if you want to order it. Now, my next card, I'm just going to just do a demo of it. Here it is finished. And the inside. The reason I'm just demoing it, well, you already got 4 cards, which is already an extra of what we normally get, but also this one uses the stamping blends, and I'm not sure you all have them, so I just, Instead, I'm just going to demo it. If you place a $50 order or order the Celebrate Sunflower bundle or another bundle, I'll make you this card for free. So now I'm just going to show you how to make it. The first thing you need to do is take a piece of the bumblebee, and we're going to do the same thing that we did for the white card base, and that is make sure you have the embossing one, which is lighter. We're going to take it at 4 1/4. We're going to score it with the lighter colored one. Then take it to 5 1/2. Oops, rotate it. Hello. Glad I did that before I cut. That would be embarrassing. All right, and then cut it at 5 1/2. So that gives you your card base, which you can fold in half. And still trying to get rid of that glue. Move that out of the way. And then the next thing you want to do is take a piece of Whisper White, and you just want to cut it in quarters. So 5 1/2, and really you only need half of it. 5 1/2, and then cut it at 4 1/4. So now you're going to have 2 quarter sheets like this to work on. All right. So now I'm going to cut out. I used the Ornate Dies for this. I didn't put that on my sheet, but this is from the Ornate Dies. And this is from the rectangle set, which if you guys are interested, I can give those to you later. So before I get started, I want to go ahead and cut this out. So I want to get back to my dryer sheet. This one, I'm just going to take a full sheet, and if I cut it in half, it'll be big enough. So I'm going to do that. And what that's going to do is take these little chads out for me, which I really love that. All right, so I'm going to get my Big Shot back and my magnetic platform with the bottom plate in there already. I'm going to put my dryer sheet down first. Actually, I'm going to flip this one because I think this one cuts better the other way. So I'm going to just put the sandwich together, dryer sheet paper, cutter, and I'm going to flip it over. There we go. Hopefully I didn't wiggle it too much. You can just inspect the corners. Oops, I did wiggle it. All right, let me go like that. Put it back on. All right, get another sheet. And I'm cutting it upside down, and the reason I like to do this, it just seems to cut these bigger ones better that way. And I'm just going to go twice. There we go. So there's that one. And I'm going to go ahead and just do this other one. I don't really need a dryer sheet for this one because it doesn't have any chads to come out. So I'm just going to do it upside down. Can't even see what I'm doing. There. It's upside down. And I'm cutting. Another nice thing about cutting them upside down is your plates warp less. Or if they are warped, this will straighten them out. So this is really nice to do with intricate dies and the bigger dies. And I'm going to do it twice. So then you can inspect it and make sure if it came off. It didn't, this one always likes to stick in the corners, but if you kind of bend them back and forth. Or if that doesn't work, you can just take your scissors and cut them. I don't know why it does that. I could run it through a few more times, but this is probably just faster. Now, if you have a whole bunch hung up still, I would definitely run it through again. But there, perfect. All right, so we got, I'm going to set this aside again. Ouch. Right on my toe. All right, so we get this. Now, here's a dryer sheet magic. We'll take this off. Put that over there. And I ran off the edge a little, but this should take out, look at that. Most of those chads. How sweet is that? Look at that. I just love, love, love this. So yeah, there's still some chads up here, and you could work them out with, gosh, I can't even find it now. With the brush and the mat, there it is. You could work them out or poke them out. But yeah, they come out pretty easy. But still way faster than having to get them all out, right? So there we go. All right, now we're ready to stamp the project. And I'm going to take the new stamp set. Here I've already went ahead and mounted it. We're using the big one and the little one. The little one's going inside. Now before I started this project, I wanted to just experiment and see what colors look good together. So I just practiced. This was using a black base, and I used Mango Melody, the light Mango Melody, and the light Cajun. In the center I used dark gray granite. I like that, but I kind of like this one better where I used the soft suede. I thought it was softer. I used Daffodil Delight and soft suede, and so that's what we're going to do. This one I tried, I think that's crumb cake. That was a little too soft for me. So this is the one we're going to do. So I'm going to use soft suede and ink it up. Now these bigger ones, I mean, you could go like this, but it's really hard to see what you're doing. I prefer to ink them upside down. So you can look at it and see if there's enough ink on there. And there is. So this one's going on the big one right in the center. There we go. And then I'm going to take this smaller one and just do around the corners. And I'm just rotating it so that there's leaves in different locations. And there we go. All right, so there's that. And then on the inside, I just wanted to have it peeking up from the corner. Like that. Okay, so there we're stamped. And now I'm going to color with my stamping blends. So like I said, for this one, these are the blends I used. I've started labeling my stamping blends on the end, and I have them in a case. It's pretty cool. I can't really move the camera to show you, but anyway, it just makes it easier for me to find them. So we're using light Mango Melody for the base of the flower, and there's a fine tip edge and a brush edge. And so I'm going to use the brush edge. And look at that, I already made a mistake, but I'm going to show you how to fix that. I'm just going to quickly brush in the whole flower. Just kind of hard to do standing, but I prefer to stand for my videos. But honestly, coloring is easier if you sit down. So, hey, guess what I'm going to do after this video? We, both boys are going to be going to college in the fall, which is really sad. Isaac's going to Iowa State. He's officially retired from his video game competitively, although he still makes YouTube videos, and quite frankly, I think is doing better than he was doing when he's playing professionally. And plus, he can do this in college as a way to make money, so it's pretty awesome. So he's going to Iowa State to finish up in industrial engineering. And Josh is going to Quincy, where he will study nursing, and he's made the soccer team. And so we're pretty excited about that as well. But excited, but it's bittersweet, right? Because both boys are leaving at the same time. I mean, it's sweet that we have a granddaughter. So that'll help fill the void. But we decided to get a puppy. So we have our puppy picked out. And, all right, let me just quickly say I'm going to use light Cajun now and just go over the dark areas. We have our puppy picked out. We get to her name. Guess what her name is? Her name is Daisy, right? So this card's not quite a daisy, but it's a sunflower. But yeah, it's kind of the same idea. So this can be Daisy's card. Maybe I'll do a Daisy card next month. That would be really fun. So she is a golden retriever puppy, and she is so cute. So we get to go play with her once a week, and we're going to go see her after the video's over and play with her and the other puppies. There's, I think, 8 puppies in the litter. And have a little special time. So this is going to help Rachel to have a friend, because both her brothers are leaving, and it's going to be hard on all of us, really. I mean, the boys can't wait, right, because they're starting their life, and they're real excited, and it is exciting, but it's hard to be left behind. So we're going to have a puppy, and that'll help us and help Rachel, and we're pretty excited. On July 4th, she'll be 8 weeks old, and we can bring her home. We're actually going to see if we can get her a little earlier, because Greg has some time off, and that way he can work with her a little bit. All right, so I just colored in all the lines with the Cajun Craze, light Cajun Craze. See, I got to read it to know what I'm doing. All right, now I'm going to do the center, and in the center I used... Gosh, I used soft suede, but that's not what I got out, so I'll just use gray granite on this one. We can be different, right? All right, so I'm going to use the, this is dark gray granite. Oh, I almost goofed this card up. Oh, which one do I want? I don't even know. Let me practice. All right, there's that one. I want to start with the lighter color, which is this one. So the lighter color is a dark gray granite. And I'm just going to cover the whole center. This is super easy watercoloring. Love these stamping blends. And there we go. It's that easy. You know what, I think while I have this out, I'll just do the center of this one. I should have done the yellow when I had the yellow out, but we can always go back and do it. All right, so there we go. Dark gray granite. Now I'm going to take the dark smoky slate. Now you can always, you probably don't have all the colors like I do, so you can just experiment around like I did with whatever colors you have and figure out, based on what you have, what you like the best. So you don't have to have exactly what I have to do this card. You can just use what you have. And then what I did is I just did this ring in the darker color, which in this case is smoky slate. And if you think, I'm going to do the ring of this one too. if you think, gosh, that is really too dark. Well, first of all, let it dry, because these kind of take a minute to dry and kind of cure. But if you just let it dry and you go, gee, that really is kind of too much color contrast for me, you can take your original lighter color and just go over the top of it, and it'll kind of soften out that darker color. So there. You got to let it dry, but it'll soften it out. And now I'm going to go ahead and do, there's no leaves on this one, but I'll do this one in the Mango Melody, the light Mango Melody. So the new stamping blends in the catalog, you can only buy them as combos. You can't just buy one or the other. I know a lot of you like to just get the lights of some of these, but now you're just going to have to get both of them, which personally I like both because I use them both. And even if you don't use that much of the darker, just to have enough for a little contrast is always nice. So now I'm going back to the light Cajun Craze. I don't want the brush tip, I want the fine tip on this. And I'm just gonna, gosh, can you see that? Yeah, you can. Okay, just gonna do these. I tell you what, I'm really just not that good at watercoloring, but when I get these amazing tools that Stampin' Up! Has, like these blends, I can really make a nice looking card. And yeah, how pretty is that? Very pretty. All right, and now I'm going to come in with the greens on the leaves, and for this I chose light Mossy Meadow and dark Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to do the light first, just cover the whole leaf. Now when you use these, you don't want to press too hard. You want to hold it at a 45-degree angle and just lightly press. If you press too hard, you're going to ruin your tips, and that's kind of, you don't want to do that. You'll have to buy new ones, right? So just very lightly color with these. And now we're going to take the dark one, and I'm just going to go over the hash lines that are already stamped on there. See, I don't even have to be creative. Just go over what's already there, and perfect. All right, so that card, now this one, if you notice, I didn't do the corners, I just left them. All right, so now I'm going to take and put it on. By the way, when you do stamping blends, they do bleed through, so you don't really just want to do it on your card base because you'll see the inside. So I always try to do it on a piece of paper that will layer on top of one another. So I'm going to go ahead and tape this down now. For this, I like to use, well, you could use glue or tape. It doesn't really matter. But my tape is handy, and I've got glue all over my hands already, so I'm just going to use tape. In the four corners, you don't need a ton of tape. And I'm going to center it on my card. Oops, I got one chat I want to get rid of. Going to center it. There. Going to put this inside. And once again, look, it bled through. So these markers are vivid, they're alcohol ink, and they do bleed. But they are gorgeous. I really like them. And they have a whole bunch of new ones to go with in color, so you know what, I'm going to be ordering this next time. There we go. Pretty. There's the outside. And the finishing touch would be to put a sentiment on it. This one I used Thanks a Bunch. I'm not going to show you. I just cut it out with this one, which is another rectangular die, and stamped Thanks a Bunch, which is actually in that stamp set. You get congratulations on reaching a whole new level of wonderful. Let's celebrate you. Thanks a bunch. Know that you are loved. Now, what's kind of fun on these is you could take a pen and just pull off the word congratulations or pull off wonderful. You don't have to use the whole phrase or just celebrate. So that's a fun thing you can do. Okay, so last I just wanted to say, go back to my sheet. The hostess this month is Deanna, and I put the hostess code in the post that you can use to order. I am going to offer a ribbon share, which is 2 yards of each of these 20 to 22 in color. There's 5 of them. There's also the green one, which I didn't show because we were using green leaves. I don't even know where it is now. But anyway, so there'll be 5 different colors plus the green ribbon. 2 yards of each color for $7.50. If you're interested in a ribbon share, 2 yards of each color. The other thing I'm going to offer is an in-color paper assortment, which is 2 sheets of each of the colors. Here. There goes that light again. Just doesn't like to stand still. Anyway, 2 sheets of each of these colors for $4.50. So you can buy a whole package, which is 24 sheets, for $8.75, but that's kind of a big commitment unless you just know you're going to love that color. So that's what I'm offering. This has been fun. I also wanted to talk to you about, I want to start doing Zoom calls where we make a mystery card, and I'm going to send out more information on that, but I'm going to give you dimensions of the card, and you're going to cut out the card using supplies that you have on hand. I'm not going to show you the card. I'm just going to give you dimensions. You're going to cut it out. Then we're going to do a Zoom call where you assemble your card, and everyone will have a different card. And I've been doing this with another group. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to connect and also make a fun card. So if you can put in the comments when that would work for you, I kind of favor just sticking with Friday at 1. It's easy for me to remember that. It's a good time for me. So I guess if that works for you, let me know. Would love to be able to converse with you guys that way, and it's a lot of fun. So thanks for watching today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.